Hi, this week we are transitioning and changing gears. We've completed our session on networking and professionalism, vocation and calling. We will continue with some devotional readings here and there, but now we are switching to technical reading and writing, especially for our kinesiology department for some of your upper division courses and for those of you who are going on to grad school. So an introductory activity that I would have you guys do in groups if we were all meeting together would be just starting off with this question. So say that your PT boss calls you and asks you this question: should we implement passive resistant training for the for those recovering from strokes? If so, what should the program consist of? So you've got 2 weeks before you present your findings to the rest of your colleagues. Your findings will dictate future therapeutic modalities done in your rehabilitation center. Where do you start? What do you do? What do you need to do to be able to intelligently and helpfully to those who come to your PT clinic to answer this question? So questions to answer. 1, what is passive resistance training? So you would need to look up what passive resistance training is so that you would then be able to speak well about the topic. And then 2, you would need to find out, has this ever been used in recovering stroke victims before? So before you make your recommendation, you'll need to have the answers to your questions. So the good news is that experts have already answered your questions, and the results are already published and accessible in literature. So a literature review is an important way to gather background information that then helps you to make an informed decision. So to start, if this were an actual question from your future PT boss, you should compile sources. So you should look up references. You should save the reference so that you can re-look it up, go back to the journal that you have, write a brief summary, maybe copy and paste the abstract so that you can quickly go back to it and have your memory sparked for what that particular article spoke about. And then 2, looking for similarities and differences in the various summaries that you have been collecting in the different articles that you've been collecting. So you're looking for very specific topics as you're doing this research, this literature research. And then you're going to start writing your thoughts down. So whether you're doing an oral presentation or a PowerPoint presentation, or maybe your boss has asked you to write this down, you'll start to think about bridging and transition sentence to go from topic to topic to topic. And obviously you wouldn't just start with a topic, you would introduce the topic, maybe explain what that type of therapy is, do your 3 or 4 topical paragraphs or your paragraphs maybe on PowerPoint or however it is, and then you would conclude it properly by summarizing all of the information that you had done. So what you've just done is you're essentially writing your own literature review paper. You're acting as a tour guide for this chosen topic, which in this case was something given to you by your future PT boss. So the reason that I went over this, I know not quite the same when you're not actually in a group with this, is that we're going to be starting some small assignments that will lead us up to your big assignment. Your big assignment in this class is a 3-page literature review paper. So it's not a really big assignment, but it's one that will really help you, especially if you're in some of your upper division classes now, and they just are expecting you to know how to write and know how to do proper format and whatnot, or for those of you who are going on to grad school. So components of a literature review paper. So we've just highlighted this in the question, the little group activity, but you have an introduction, you have your review. Your review would be consisting of your topical paragraphs, and then your conclusion. In a literature review paper, there's no experiment taking place, there's no personal research taking place. You're simply summarizing data from other people's experiments, from other people's research. Just as a heads up for why are we covering this right now, all of the stars, these are our next few weeks. This is actually from now until the end of the semester. All of these assignments that are stars, that are open stars, are helping you kind of guide and learn proper technical grammar, AMA, American Medical Association. That's the format we will be using. The EBP assignment on the 28th is an evidence-based practice assignment, one which will help you to really narrow down and specify the search topics that you're doing when you do your lit review search. The fourth, the technical writing quiz, a plagiarism assignment, 2 short assignments kind of again leading up to those 2 stars that are filled in on the 11th and the 18th. You will be doing a journal article review in prep for ensuring that you are choosing the right articles, correct articles that you will be allowed to use, and then checking again your technical writing skills. And then your, again, big writing assignment is your lit review paper. Your first edition is due on the 18th of November. I will get it back to you, and then you have a chance to either redo it or just make some small changes, and your final edition is due that last week of school of the semester. So academic literature, what is academic literature? What is current? What is the difference between an academic journal and a non-academic journal? What does peer-reviewed mean? So all of those questions are things that you will hopefully learn in these next 4 to 5 weeks or so. Again, we will be using AMA format, American Medical Association format. For those of you who are going to become PTs, you will maybe be using APA. Our upper division courses use AMA and APA, but we're just going to stick with one version rather than boggling you down with 2 different versions, maybe causing some confusion there in that. So academic literature, we'll be diving into academic literature. Again, a literature review paper is just a summary of current research. So you're going to become a tour guide of a chosen specific topic. Research paper then, these are the types of papers that you will be reading through and summarizing. These are the types of papers where a group of people got together and performed an experiment of some sort. They collected data, they had a methods section, something that's reproducible, that other people could follow their methods section and do the experiment again. But they're contributing new ideas to an academic field. The people who did the experiment are the people who are writing this paper. So this would be a primary sourced research paper. These are the types of papers that you will be reviewing as you then write your journal article and your literature review paper. So making sure that you have the right type of paper. A research paper always has a methods section and a results section. So the methods section is the recipe for repeating the research. It includes participants, instruments used, procedures, how the data was analyzed. And this is really important. There are a lot of really good literature review papers published for you to read, but you can't write a literature review paper on a literature review paper. You need to go back to the primary source. You're not going to be summarizing secondary sources. You are becoming a secondary source as you are writing the summaries yourself. So in the components of a research paper, an experiment took place, and there's some research taking place. It's not simply a review of or a summary of another group's research. So there are 4 topics that I have come up with that you can read for yourself there. I know for certain that there is plenty of acceptable, current, peer-reviewed, free, full-length sources for you to use on these topics. But I'm also more than okay with you choosing a different topic if you already know what you are really interested in. But these are some topics. I know sometimes choosing a topic can take a really long time. These are some topics that I know are prepared ahead of time, that they're going to give you good information. So evidence-based practice, Dr. Cosby created a short video that you will watch. Just as an FYI, she created it for KIN4084, and so it still says that, but it's the same, they're doing the same topics. They have more assignments building up to their literature review paper, but for some of you, I'm assuming this will be more of a review assignment. And for some of you, maybe you have not technically written papers before, and so your academic writing will be really difficult for you, which is why we're doing a few review assignments before we jump into the lit review. So her video will help you to find better resources, more specific resources, rather than having to spend endless hours as you're doing your search for good academic information. So current research. When you are citing something, I would really like it to be current. If you're citing something for how to properly rehab an ACL injury and you're looking at something from the 90s, it's not evidence-based practice, it's not current, it's not helpful at all. So current research that is acceptable is the last 10 years. It's preferred, though, that you have things that have been published within the last 5 years. Primary source. So again, the people who did the research, the performers of the research, also wrote the research paper. So secondary sources would be a description or a review of maybe one or more studies, and it's not the original author who's writing that. So those would be review articles, textbooks, newspaper accounts. They're fine. They're summarizing information, but there's the potential for it to be insufficient, inaccurate, or biased. And so your own interpretation of the results are really, really important as you are the one writing these literature review papers. American Medical Association, so AMA, all of your assignments will be written in AMA. I have an AMA cheat sheet. All of your assignments will be reviewing journal articles, so you really only need to learn how to properly cite a journal article, and so that will be on this next slide, and then it's also posted on the module. So when you're doing a journal article in AMA form, you can look back to this. You've got your authors in a very specific way. Then you have the title of the article also in a very specific way. And then there in kind of maroon where it says Journal Aging Health, that's the title of the actual magazine of the publication. And then the year of publication, the volume, the issue number, and the pages. So that format is the same format for all of the references that you'll find on your reference page. Again, though, there's a cheat sheet for you that I've already posted. So you have a journal article review due November 15th. This is a screenshot of what I expect as far as the title page. You'll be summarizing the title of the article that you've chosen for this assignment, your name in a specific way, your information, the date in a specific way for this title page here. What you're actually going to be doing for this assignment is you're finding an article that you want to use for your literature review paper, and you will be summarizing what their research problem was, what their hypothesis was, and then in bold. These are really, really important. A lot of people some people tend to submit papers that will start out saying this is a review paper or this is a summary. When it's a review or a summary, it doesn't have an experimental design or statistical treatment. So if you can't find that in your article, then that should be a aha moment of this is not a primary sourced experiment-based article. So you're just going to be summarizing the article as you're writing your journal article review, practicing your technical writing, and then you have only one reference because you were just referencing and summarizing one journal, and so you'll be practicing that there with proper AMA format. Again, this is all posted on Canvas, and this is about a month ahead of time, just kind of gearing you toward the thought of choosing a topic so that your article for this topic, for this assignment, is then going to be able to be used for your literature review paper. So technical writing. All assignments will be written using your technical writing skills. So your technical writing skills avoid conversational tone, avoid a lot of adjectives and descriptive words. You're simply taking the information and you're kind of gleaning it. You're just taking the most important information out and you're writing in your most academic voice, summarizing properly and citing properly. So this is kind of a long video. I'll post it up, and then I'm sure that some of you will be wanting to go back and review it. Have a good day. Bye.